Hello friends, I have a new exclusive story about a lone werewolf. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. He watched a good movie. At first, an interesting film caught his attention. The poor guy was trying to find the treasure. He went to the jungle and what happened? An hour later, Gordon opened his eyes. He saw that some stupid comedy show had begun. Gordon watched the show and thought about the movie. The young man went to the jungle, and what happened? Within seconds, Gordon realized he was acting like a machine. He got up and drank soda. No, Gordon said. Unpleasant feeling touched him. In the past, he liked a new and cold soda. Gordon looked at the bottle. You lost greatness, he noted and smiled. And once again, he remembered the movie about the treasure. But wait, his personality. Why did he become automatic? Because he was not interested in the film. He was attacked by past tragedies. Gordon only wanted to think about something different. He looked in the mirror. The stranger was looking at him from the mirror. The past tragedies will kill you, the stranger said. Gordon shook his head and sat on the sofa. And still, he was inside of the desperation. Every day became so similar. He started to fight with desperation. The night was coming, and Gordon becoming a loser. Yes, each night showed him how weak he was. And came time when Gordon needed to close the eyes and use the sleep as shelter. Only sleep could help him. Gordon slowly closed his eyes. Yes, darkness came slowly, but at this time, when it wanted to touch him, the fates smiled and desperation scream broke everything. Gordon immediately opened his eyes and stood up. Suddenly, Gordon realized that his reflexes were still good. Sudden happiness stood close to him and Gordon smiled. It was nice to know that he is still a strong man. In the next second, Gordon stopped the good feeling and quickly went into the bedroom. Where is my weapon? He asked, and his memory answered. Gordon opened the wardrobe and took the Winchester. He left the house and once again heard the screaming sound. This was a woman's voice. Gordon, like a hungry animal, followed the sound. He did not need footprints, because Gordon understood in which house came the trouble. Gordon stopped near the neighbor's house. At first, he needed to look around, and only after this, he could enter the house. He heard a roaring sound. Gordon looked up. The huge creature jumped from the balcony. The monster was already in the air. In this situation, a normal human would die, but Gordon had superhuman reflexes. Of course, he used the Winchester. The bullet touched the monster. The creature continued flying, but in a different direction. Gordon saw how the werewolf crashed into the wall. After a few seconds, the angry werewolf stood up and roared. Whoa, this is so cool, Gordon smiled. It turns out that you are a real werewolf. The wolfman attacked him. Gordon started shooting and the werewolf fell back. The silver bullets, Gordon said. Only the silver bullets and fire can stop you. And he continued shooting the monster. After a few minutes, Werewolf turned back and ran away. Gordon had only a few bullets, but he opened the door and checked the house. 5 humans were dead. Only one woman was still alive. "That is so close to you," Gordon said to her. After this, he took the woman to his house. Gordon wanted to save her, but when he looked at the woman's wounds, the answer came. The wounds started to slowly disappear. The woman opened the eyes. Gordon knew that she was already a monster, but he also clearly saw the fear. Yes, this woman was filled with fear. "You are turning into the werewolf," Gordon said. The woman barely moved her head and looked at him. She was afraid. And at this time, Gordon understood that someone grabbed his hand. His old friend returned to him. The fear looked at his eyes and said that Gordon needed to kill the monster. "But why?" Gordon asked. Fear was surprised and answered, "Because she will kill you." And Gordon's eyes changed. He looked at the woman. She was already sleeping. "She is lying," Fear explained. "In reality, this werewolf is listening to us. She is waiting for a good moment." Fear made him turned into confidence. But the next moment, Gordon pulled his hand away. He went into the bedroom, and at this time sleep touched him. Gordon was waiting. He thought that fear will return, or nightmares will start to attack him. Maybe the angry werewolf will return, or the woman will stand up and start to destroy everything. Yes, he was waiting, but no one came to him. In the morning, Gordon stood up and took the Winchester. He started thinking, maybe the woman already turned into the werewolf. This was so interesting. He opened the door. The expectations were not met. The scared woman looked at him and asked, "What do you want from me?" "I saved you," Gordon answered. "You saved me?" She became angry. "And why you need Winchester?" Gordon understood one horrifying thing. He could say the truth, but the reality would destroy this woman. Her family was gone. Her human life was gone. "You killed my family," she screamed. "Why did you do that?" "The werewolf killed your family," Gordon said strictly. "The wolfman bite you. Your wounds were disappeared, because the young woman will transform into the werewolf." She started crying, but Gordon did not stop. "My weapon will protect me from you," Gordon added. He did not want to say bad things. Also, Gordon was not angry at the woman. He said the truth and nothing more. "What is happening?" Woman fell to her knees. Gordon came close and also fell to his knees. "Listen, I am Gordon. I am your neighbor. We don't know each other's names, but..." "Yes, we are neighbors," she interrupted Gordon. "My name is Victoria." And Victoria asked a strange question. She was alive. Maybe her family members also were alive and transformed into the werewolves. Gordon noted that Victoria had an interesting theory. They immediately left the house. Gordon told Victoria how he heard the screaming sound and met with the werewolf. "I started screaming," Victoria said. She told that werewolf suddenly attacked them. They were in the guest room. The monster broke the window and killed everyone. Gordon wanted to say how interesting the story was. Fortunately, Gordon barely stopped himself. They checked the house. Only the dead bodies and nothing more. Victoria once again started crying. At this time, Gordon did not stop himself and said, We love our family. We prefer turning into a monster and hate death. But which one is worse? Victoria looked at him and stopped crying. Okay, Gordon said. Now I need to go. Gordon was walking in the forest and thinking about human nature. It does not matter what would happen. The main thing is to be alive. Victoria wanted living family members, and she did not care that maybe they transformed into the monsters. In the house, he drank warm tea and looked at the mirror. Yesterday, Gordon thought that he had become mechanical. Maybe he needed to look at everything on the other hand. Gordon needed to saw a woman who lost everyone. She was living like a normal human, and suddenly Werewolf broke the window. Yes, the Werewolf killed her family members and stole her humanity. Gordon tried to remember the time when he had humanity. This was strange, but he lost the easy battle. Maybe his every humanity memory disappeared. The day became very simple, only watching TV and eating. In the evening, Gordon stood up and said, I will try again. And half an hour later, he came to Victoria's house. Gordon knocked on the door. Victoria looked down from balcony. It's me, Gordon smiled. Gordon? The woman was surprised. What do you want? Victoria became scared. Gordon had a Winchester and the cup. The warm tea and friendly talking will change your mood. Why do you need Winchester? Victoria asked. Gordon smiled and answered, bullets cannot kill you. Victoria went on the first floor and opened the door. She drank the warm tea and smiled. Thanks for your attention, Victoria said. They entered the kitchen and sat down in the chair. Forgive me, Victoria, Gordon apologized. In the morning, I was very rough. And Gordon saw the werewolf. The monster was looking in the window. Victoria, the werewolf is here, Gordon screamed, and they stood up. The wolfman broke the window and entered the kitchen. They entered the living room. The werewolf hit Gordon. He fell and thought that the monster will kill Victoria. The werewolf was very close to Victoria. But Wolfman started walking towards Gordon. He stood up and shot the werewolf. Run, Victoria, Gordon screamed. The werewolf was trying to attack Gordon, but he defended himself with Winchester. The big bullet stopped the monster. In the end, the werewolf turned back and looked at Victoria. The monster howled and ran away. Gordon had many questions. A lot of question marks were flying in his head. But Gordon needed to protect the woman. I will protect you. He looked at Victoria and saw how the young woman began her transformation. Gordon understood that he needed to leave this house. He returned to his house. Gordon was very afraid, but he did not understand one thing. He loved to shoot the werewolf. This was fun for him. Gordon could not figure out which side was the fear coming from. The scary creature was nothing for him, and the fear of death stood far from him. A few times he heard a howling sound. Gordon knew that it was Victoria. The night went slowly. In the morning, he immediately went to Victoria's house. Victoria was crying. I forgot what I was doing at night, she said. Yes, she forgot. Victoria transformed into the werewolf and started running in the forest. She forgot humanity, and Gordon did not know where Victoria will go. Because of this, Gordon scared. Fear's name was Victoria, and Gordon could not defeat her. Gordon came close to her and said, "At first, I did not pay attention to this. I thought the monster attacked your family and you survived due to luck. But what happened?" Victoria asked. "Yesterday, Werewolf saw me and became angry. The monster was close to you, but it did not attack the woman. The wolfman wanted to kill me." "What do you want to say?" Victoria asked. And Gordon told that Werewolf wanted a partner. The monster was living lonely. Because of this, Werewolf found a beautiful woman. This monster killed her whole family and turned the woman into the werewolf. "No!" Victoria screamed. "This will not happen." Gordon touched her hair and said, "Right now, you need to come with me. My house is safer." And they left the house, where only Pain wanted to live. Victoria was sitting and thinking about the past tragedies. She realized the rough reality. Some monster killed everyone for woman. The bloody creature wanted to make her a slave. Gordon brought warm tea and asked, "Are painful tragedies attacking you?" Victoria drank tea and said, "My family members always were talking about you. The strange neighbor who is so lonely. I wonder, have you always been such a loner?" Gordon smiled and answered, "You will not believe me, but I was a very happy person. The past tragedies took everyone and everything." And when the evening came, Gordon became more focused. He told that Werewolf will attack. This monster saw Gordon. He knew that Victoria was not alone and wanted to kill Gordon. They saw the werewolf. "When I shoot this monster, my bullets only hurt him," Gordon explained. "The werewolf does not die but runs away." Victoria looked at him and asked, "And what?" Gordon explained that a werewolf had a human side. The human inside the monster wanted Victoria. He was not dying, but pain defeated him. "He is weak," Gordon said. He went to the door of the house and opened it. The angry werewolf entered the house. Gordon smiled and said, "This time only one bullet will stop you." And he shot the werewolf. The wolfman fell and died. "Only one silver bullet," Victoria noted. "Yes, you only need one silver bullet." Victoria was thankful, but she needed to go. "No," Gordon strictly said. "I will help you." Gordon had the basement and the chains. Victoria was sitting in the basement and thinking. She had one friend. This was good, but the whole life she would be a monster. The bad feeling surrounded her. In the end, she started the transformation. At this time, the door opened and Gordon entered the basement. He came close to Victoria and sat down on the floor. "Remember," Gordon said, "you only bite me once, and I will be just like you. Our loneliness will end." "Gordon, no!" Victoria screamed. "I am losing my human form. I will tear you apart. Go away." Gordon just smiled and started waiting. There was a chance for a good ending.